Welcome everybody to the very first broadcast of Radio ISR. This podcast is going to be about 30 minutes long, and my intention, if the show proves popular, is to try and broadcast at least one of these per month. The show itself has some very interesting content, so please give it a go. And if you like it, and you want to participate in future shows, then drop me a line. So now it's time for some Radio ISR news. And what we're going to do now is going to cover 10 things we didn't know last week. Number 1, although Ford's year-end Blitz ISR bonus is actually finished, you still have to get the units delivered by 30th of April in order to claim the monies. Number 2, Matthew Ainscough, who works in the UK, watched far too many Superman movie reruns over the Christmas period, and as you can see, he got himself a new set of glasses which are very Clark Kent-esque. Number 3, a very interesting bulletin that came out about overcoming objections on OBP. I definitely advise you to read it, and it's bulletin number 10755. Number 4, Vicenza beats Aviano 6-3 in a 5-a-side football game. Number 5, Breaking Bad is the show people most often lie about having watched. Number 6, this is a very discontented Robert Davis after his 100th delivery broke down on the way to the delivery centre. And there it is, the vehicle being towed away. Number 7, the larvae of wax moth can actually break down plastic. Number 8, after losing a Jenga, the Incredible Hulk has been transferred to Naples. Number 9, it's quicker by about 3 hours to read The Hobbit than it is to watch Peter Jackson's movie trilogy. Finally, number 10, ISIS fighters in Syria have a weakness for Red Bull and Pringles. So now it's time to play our game of the day, ISR and a reasonably priced car. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to present some features of a vehicle, and I'm going to start with what I think are the more difficult ones, and eventually the features will get easier. Hopefully at some point you'll be able to guess what the vehicle is. So, feature number 5, standard twin-scroll 2-litre EcoBoost engine. Feature number 4, standard rear-view camera. Feature number 3, available 3.5-litre V6 engine. Should be getting a bit easier now. Feature number 2, available panoramic vista roof. I'm sure there's somebody at home right now who's got it and figured out what vehicle I'm talking about. And then finally, available dual headrest DVD. Okay, so for those of you who haven't got the vehicle yet, the vehicle of course is the 2015 Ford Edge. Now I'm a big believer in product knowledge, and I know it can definitely help to sell cars. And one of the things I've always found that if you have good product knowledge, it helps with the conviction stage of your presentation. So if you're convinced on the product, of course it's going to be easier for you to sell it. And one of the things I've always done when I sold cars was I tried to learn 5 things I liked about the vehicle. So I'm going to do the same for the Ford Edge right now. I'm going to talk about 5 things that I like about the Ford Edge. So number 1, Ford continues on its one Ford path of making its best vehicles available globally. I love this about Ford. Virtually every vehicle they're building in the good old US of A, they're also producing for worldwide consumption in another marketplace. And that truly shows you that we're not getting hand-me-downs, we're getting the very best product available. Number 2, it really is an SUV that is big enough for 5 adults. And that's where it's positioned. So people find some SUVs a bit on the small side truly can look at the Ford Fusion and say, you know what, it's got plenty of room, you could fit 5 adults inside it, and of course plenty of cargo room at the same time. Built on the Ford Fusion platform. Why is that good? Well, of course, the Ford Fusion platform we all know is more stronger and rigid than the previous platform, which is good news for those who are concerned with safety. But also people who like good ride and handling, because when you have a stiff chassis, it makes a big difference to the ride and handling of the vehicle. Number 3, it is a very stylish and it's arguably one of the best looking mid-size SUVs in its class. Ford themselves haven't messed up what proved to be a popular look in the previous version. They've just sharpened things a little, made it a little bit more refined, a bit more aerodynamic, but at the same time give it a much more sportier look about it. And when you compare it to the competition, like I said, it's out there, it definitely is a good looking vehicle if you have a look at the Chevy Equinox or the Nissan Murano, which is the typical competition for this vehicle. Number 4, comes with a wide choice of engines that are available, and they're all mated to a 6-speed automatic with paddle shift controls. I love that. I love the idea of being able to control the gears from the steering wheel area. It really gives it a sort of a sporty feel and presence about itself. And as I said earlier, it comes with a wide choice of engines. That's very unusual. Normally in this kind of class, you find there's only kind of one engine choice available. And I think what our customers are going to be really impressed upon is being able to get the right engine that suits what they want to do with it. So first of all, what's going to be standard on it is a 2-litre EcoBoost. This is a brand new engine for 2015, and it features 245 horsepower and 270 pounds of torque. Now, for our more traditional buyers who like the V6 and who might maybe not too convinced with driving with a 4-cylinder, no matter how impressive the credentials are, you can still opt to get a 3.5-litre V6 that has 285 horsepower and 253 pounds of torque. And a lovely engine that's going to be coming available is a 2.7-litre EcoBoost. We've seen that in the F-150, and this is really impressive. I mean, a 2.7-litre putting out 325 horsepower, 375 foot-pounds of torque. So whatever way your customer goes, if they're interested in performance, they're interested in fuel economy, or they like that traditional V6 setup, they'll be able to get that with the new 2015 Ford Edge. And then finally, it has a very impressive model lineup that would tick the boxes for most people that are shopping in this class. Absolutely no doubt about it, there truly is an Edge for everybody. It's available in front-wheel drive, it's available in all-wheel drive. What's really impressive about the all-wheel drive system, it can shift 100% of its power to its rear wheels in literally in the blink of an eye. So you got the standard SE model, which comes with 18-inch wheels. It comes standard with sync and a rear view camera, plus a whole host of other equipment. Then you can move up to the SEL model, gives you the dual zone electronic air conditioning, the unique cloth interior. You got the titanium model, which is new for 2015. Gives you leather, My Ford Touch, Sony sound system, and also gives you that cool hands-free power liftgate feature. And then finally, you got the sport model. We've seen it before. Really looks good. You get the big, massive 20-inch wheels, heated seats, leather interior, and the black piano interior to go with it as well. So as I said, very impressive lineup, and there really is a Ford Edge for everybody.
I'm on top of the world, eh? I'm on top of the world, eh? Waiting on this for a while now, paying my dues to the dirt. I've been waiting to smile, eh? Been holding it in for a while, eh? Take you with me if I can. Been dreaming of this since a child.
Okay, boys and girls, it's time now to do our new feature, which is Who's Hot. And what we're going to do is I'm going to give a quick call to one of the ISRs that are out there who's really outperforming right now at the moment. And his name is Andrew Carey. And Andrew Carey, for those of you who don't know him, works in Naples, Italy. And let's get him on the phone right now.
Andrew Carey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
I'm doing brilliant, thanks very much. Listen, I really appreciate you taking the time out to tell me about what's going on in Naples at the moment. And I know you've just come off the back of what was your biggest order month ever in the company. How many orders did you put up in December?
I put up 17 orders, which was my best one so far, and it was 15 last month, so I'm going for 20 this month.
You also had a great delivery month as well. I think you delivered 11 units last month.
It was definitely my biggest month as well. It was hard at the start because I got no local delivery. So like 5 months ago, all the orders that I put in, they're all finally coming through now.
Well, as you know, the reason I'm ringing you was to try and get your insight into what's going on. I know you're a changed man since you come down from Germany, and I'm just trying to figure out, what's really changed. How come you're at the moment being one of the top ISRs in Europe?
When I came down, I set a load of goals. I put a lot more into the job. Where what you put in is definitely what you get out. I work 7 days a week. Our hours are 10 to 7, but I come in at 8 and I leave at 8. So I definitely get a few extra deals or leads even in the morning, and definitely in the evening times when we're supposed to be closed. So definitely staying open longer is definitely a benefit to me. I work probably maybe like 3 months. I'll work every day, and then I'll take a little short vacation back home to Ireland. But definitely what you put in is definitely what you're getting back out.
And what about your closing? You doing anything special on that? How come you seem to be closing so many deals?
So I definitely come in with looking for one deal a day. Even when I go home at night, I'm trying to think at night who are the 2 guys that I can maybe close tomorrow. Instead of looking for 2 leads, I'm looking for a deal a day at least.
Brilliant stuff. Well, certainly working for you, that's for sure. So, Early Bird 3, how do you think you're going to do on that? You're certainly at the moment one of the top 4 runners. Is that going to stay the same by the end of February?
Yeah, for sure. When I first started here, I had a goal of hitting 10 orders a month, and it took me at least a year to get to that. And then once I hit 10, I couldn't get off 10 for ages. But once I got over it, I definitely get more hungrier every day, you know. So it's definitely just going to do as many orders and deliveries as I can, and just keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully I come out with a nice prize.
Fantastic, man. Well, listen, thanks very much again for taking the phone call, and I wish you all the success, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon.
Cheers, buddy.
Take care.
Ciao. Bye.
Bye-bye.
What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Is it a monster? What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Is it a monster?
So we're going to do a little bit of product knowledge right now. And for the real gearheads out there, you'll know that every year in January, the North American International Auto Show takes place. So for our boys and girls who are maybe not too familiar about it, it's in Detroit, Michigan. And what that means is, of course, this is the back garden of the big three car manufacturers. And in no way, shape or form do they want to be upstaged by the import brands. I know Ford in particular are going to launch 3 vehicles at the Detroit Motor Show, and they're 3 vehicles that we can all get very, very excited about. The first one, and the rumour mill, is of course the new Ford Focus RS. This has been long awaited. It's a vehicle that's only been available in Europe, and now they're going to bring it to the United States of America. So we'll find out at the time whether it's going to be a front-wheel drive or they're going to have all-wheel drive. And more importantly, will it be built in Germany or built in the good old US of A? So let's keep our fingers crossed it's built in the good old US of A so we can actually sell it ourselves. The second vehicle that Ford are going to be launching at the Detroit Motor Show will be the 2016 F-150 Raptor. We know we sell that vehicle, and we know our customers are going to be very excited about that when that one gets launched. Another vehicle that Ford is rumoured to be launching is, believe it or not, the Ford GT. Yes, that bad boy is looking to come back again. Ford, I know, want to get involved in Le Mans racing, and they want to use this basically as their halo vehicle. There's all types of rumours bounding around at the moment, and I hear, believe it or not, that they may actually install it with a 3.5 litre turbocharged V6 engine in. But whatever it is, it's certainly an exciting time for Ford. I'm sure Chrysler will also have some exciting vehicles at the launch, and when I hear more, I'll update you.
I've been praying hard. Said no more counting dollars, we'll be counting stars. Lately I've been busy dreaming about.
Alright, boys and girls, time for a new part of our show. It's called On Air. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give a call to one of our top ISRs that we have out in Military Auto Source. And for those of you who don't know him, his name is Dennis Peak. He works in a place called Spengalum in Germany. And this gentleman has been around with us since October 1999. And in that short period of time, he's delivered over 2,250 vehicles. So let's get him on the line and see what's going on in sunny Spengalum. Good evening, Dennis Peak. How are you?
Good evening, Mr. Ferguson.
Dennis, I know you're expecting my phone call, so what I want to do is just ask you a few questions if you don't mind,
Sure.
and we can go from there. What is it you like about selling?
It's not really selling. I feel like I'm a liaison between sadness and happiness, or old and new. You know, taking a fella from something old and putting something different. You know, I get a thrill out of just getting individuals, you know, feeling good. Not that typical sit down, give me your money deposit, put them in the car and shove them off. It goes over well, and it's just a real kick. The job's got a lot of excitement in it. It's never been a day that I haven't been excited about coming into work.
Well, you've been doing it enough years, and you've been doing it at a very top level, so something's obviously working for you. What would you say you dislike about selling?
You know, it's not what I dislike about it. I typically wish that I can close every person that I encountered. You know, and I feel like I'm giving a little something back. So I really am saddened that I cannot give everyone the ultimate opportunity of buying in this great program. And that's the truth coming from a veteran.
That's a great philosophy, that's for sure. Let me ask you this. Do you think it's important to be a gearhead in this job?
And being a gearhead's where it's at these days because of all the competition that's out there. You've got to stay on top of your business. And that has contributed to my success. Something I can't even tell you how much.
And what does your typical workday look like?
Well, start up in the morning is a mental daytime that opens up for me. I review all my open orders for any changes, rebate, uplifts, anything more I can give the customer. We can continue to provide good information to that customer. That's great. Then, secondly, what I do, I make contact with at least one delivered customer a day, and I can go back as far as 10 years.
Wow.
As long as they still have Dennis Peak as a household name, your name will transfer to other locations, other individuals. The military is a small community. I mean, I have individuals walk in, I don't even know. Say, "Are you Dennis Peak?" And it goes, "Well, I met so-and-so when I was deployed, and he said that, to come see you." So that's my typical startup of a day, just, like I said, reviewing open orders, preventing overcommitment, transparency to the customer, and touching at least one delivered customer. If I deliver 5 customers this month, I will touch bases with one of them again.
That is some philosophy, that's for sure. I know this is a difficult one. It's going to put you on the spot. But what do you think makes a successful ISR? What would you find the main attributing factor?
I would honestly say, once again, honesty and integrity. Doing what's correct no matter who's looking. In my 15 years of doing this, I always practice honesty and integrity. I think you can go home, you can put your head down with that. You can get up the next day and come in, and you can assure yourself success because you never have to look over your shoulder.
Now, if I was a brand spanking new ISR, and maybe you met me at the banquet, and I came up to you and I said, "Dennis, listen, just give me a single tip. Just give me something that's going to guarantee my success." What would you tell me?
Well, here it is. Wear a smile and greet as many people as possible. Get out into the community. Get your face known with relentless prospecting.
Brilliant. That's a great tip. That's for sure. This could be a hard one to jog your memory, but what was your most memorable deal or delivery that you've ever done?
He was a school principal from Bitburg in 2000. I was a new ISR on the set, and I spent half a day polishing and just rubbing and glorifying a beautiful vehicle out in front of a location. Customer walked in to my office. He went, "Oh, what a beautiful vehicle. You've done a great job with it. We saw it last night. Oh, I never thought it would look so good." And I walk with that. And that made me feel so good when I walked back into that office. And that's a delivery that I will never, ever forget in January of 2000.
Dennis, it was really, really good to talk to you, I got to say, and you have absolutely imparted tons and tons of your wisdom. So I'm hoping that all the guys and girls who listen at home will pick up 1 or 2 bits on there.
Are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat?
I'm going to cover a book now, and it's called What Great Salespeople Do. Now, I'm going to do all of it because it would take too long, but I'm going to try and do it in 2 parts and see if the first part gets you a bit interested in it. And it's written by a gentleman named Michael Bosworth, and I highly recommend that you get out and buy yourself a copy of this book. It really is good stuff. And as you can see there from the title, it's about the science of selling through emotional connection. And what the book should have been called is What Great People Do. This is the age-old question. When asked to describe what makes a great salesperson, we usually default to some sort of intangible. Okay, so what we would say about somebody who's a great salesperson, we'd say things like, "Oh, he's really, really good with people. He makes customers comfortable. He's got the gift of the gab, and he exudes charisma." These sort of intangible sort of qualities. So let's call it the X factor. Let's talk about great salespeople suddenly have this thing called the X factor. Clearly, this X factor must be somewhere inside the brain. So where is it hiding? So this is the brain itself. And the brain is broken into 3 different parts. You've got the reptilian brain, which developed about 600 million years ago. And as you can see, it's basically primarily about fight or flight. It's all about instinct. It's bolted directly onto the spinal cord. And that's what it's all about. And it came with the first reptiles to crawl out of the sea. And then, hundreds and hundreds of million years later, when the first mammals sort of arrived, we moved on to the limbic system. And the limbic system is there to care for the young. And then suddenly we came along, and then suddenly we have this thing called the neocortex. And the neocortex isn't really massively understood, but of course we know it's involved with language and thinking and so on and so forth. Now it's broken into 2 different sides. It's broken into a left hemisphere, and it's broken into a right hemisphere. The left hemisphere is all about linear reason, grammar, and facts. It's the thinking part of the brain. It basically works out sort of problems and so on and so forth. It craves information and always wants to know more and more and more. However, the right hemisphere has a completely different function altogether. It's more creative, it's more emotional, it's about pictures, images, metaphors, and of course that's where language is as well. But the bottom line is the right hemisphere part of the brain makes decisions based on intuition, emotion, and experience. That's all. So the left-hand brain brings in all the information,
but the right-hand brain is the eventual one that makes the decision based on intuition, emotion, and experience. Now we're going to watch a quick little video right now, and it's from the social network, and this will help to illustrate my point a little bit when we come out from the other side.
Although just because something's trite doesn't make it any less
I want to try to be straightforward with you and tell you that I think you might want to be a little more supportive. If I get in, I will be taking you to the events and the gatherings, and you'll be meeting a lot of people you wouldn't normally get to meet.
You would do that for me?
We're dating.
Okay. Well, I want to try and be straightforward with you and let you know that we're not anymore.
What do you mean?
We're not dating anymore, I'm sorry.
Is this a joke?
No, it's not.
You're breaking up with me?
You are going to introduce me to people I wouldn't normally have the chance to meet. What is that supposed to mean?
Wait, settle down.
What is it supposed to mean?
Erica, the reason we're able to sit here and drink right now is because you used to sleep with the door guy.
The door guy, his name is Bobby. I have not slept with the door guy. The door guy is a friend of mine, and he's a perfectly good class of people. And what part of Long Island are you from? Wimbledon?
Wait.
I'm going back to my dorm.
Wait. Is this real?
Yes.
Okay, then wait. I apologize, okay?
I have to go study.
Erica?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I mean it.
I appreciate that, but I have to go study.
Come on, you don't have to study. You don't have to study. Let's just talk.
I can't.
Why?
Because it is exhausting. Dating you is like dating a stairmaster.
All I meant is that you're not likely to... Currently. I wasn't making a comment on your parents. I was just saying that you go to BU. I was stating a fact. That's all. And if it seemed rude, then of course I apologize.
I have to go study.
You don't have to study.
Why do you keep saying I don't have to
Because
study?
you go to BU. Want to get some food?
I am sorry you are not sufficiently impressed with my education.
I'm sorry I don't have a rowboat, so we're even.
I think we should just be friends.
I don't want friends.
I was just being polite. I have no intention of being friends with
I'm
you.
under some pressure right now from my OS class, and if we could just order some food, I think we should be...
Okay, you are probably going to be a very successful computer person. But you're going to go through life thinking that girls don't like you because you're a nerd. And I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that that won't be true. It'll be because you're an asshole.
So, imagine Mark Zuckerberg as portrayed in this movie trying to sell you a car. I'd say the guy would probably send you to sleep. What percentage of your sales presentation is geared towards the left-hand hemisphere side of the brain? Mark Zuckerberg is clearly a left-brainer. There's absolutely no doubt about that, and that video definitely portrays that. But what percentage of the sales presentation you give is geared towards the left-hand side of the brain, the facts and the figures? Now, that's probably hard at home right now to try and figure that out for yourself, but the bottom line is we do a hell of a lot of our presentation based on the left-hand side of the brain. We do blueprinting. That's all very, very logical. We do quotes. We do pricing. That takes up an inordinate amount of time when we make a presentation. Closing, that's all left hemisphere, that is. We spend a lot of our time making presentation to the left-hand side of the brain. That's what we do. So if more than half the brain is dedicated towards making subjective decisions based on intuition and emotion, why do we find ourselves primarily selling to the other side? I mean, at the end of the day, if the right-hand brain is the part of the brain that makes a decision, then why do we find ourselves all the time pounding the left-hand brain with all the information? And the reason for that is because of our training. It's very easy when you're training somebody to make them understand the importance of a PCS date, payments that the customer want, their current car, and so on and so forth. It's completely logical. What is much harder to understand is the reason why people make subjective decisions based on intuition and emotion. However, to have that X factor, you need certain skills that will allow you to appeal to the right-hand hemisphere or part of the brain. So, for example, if we were to sell a Harley Davidson, we should be sold basically on emotion. There's no doubt about that. It is not a rational decision why you would buy a Harley Davidson. So if you were selling a Harley Davidson, the correct way to sell it, there's absolutely no doubt about this, you would appeal to the right hemisphere. You'd be talking about the exhilaration, how the person's going to feel at speed on a motorcycle, how they're going to feel. You're going to be talking about the prestige, that owning a Harley Davidson is very much like, buying a Rolls Royce, and when you roll up somewhere, people are going to notice. The freedom that you get. I mean, it's not like a car journey. If you want to go down to the shops and buy a loaf of bread in a car, it's mundane. But on a motorcycle, something as simple as that can feel like an adventure. Finally, you can talk about camaraderie. You can talk about somebody that as soon as they put the key in the ignition and off they go, they are automatically entered into a brotherhood of other people that they can ride with. That's what they get when they own a Harley Davidson. So our customer, after getting a great presentation, is going to look something like this. I just bought a Harley. I can't wait for the exhilaration, the prestige, the freedom, and the camaraderie that comes, of course, with owning that motorcycle. And then they might say, oh yeah, and it's got great resale value as well. Because the bottom line is this: emotion beats logic all day long.
So your customer will talk about all the emotional stuff that comes with it and then back it up with a little bit of logic in order to satisfy the left hemisphere part of the brain. So we make decisions based on emotion and then we rationalize them with facts. The purpose of my presentation, as you probably guessed by right now, is to help you inject more X factor into your sales presentation. So we can kind of cancel out all the stuff that we have to do, the blueprinting, the quoting and the pricing, and make the presentation geared more towards the right hand brain. Now to make this point of what I'm doing right now with you, now imagine I made this presentation to you right now without any pictures, right? That was gone. I didn't put any videos. I lost any analogies. There's no stories. And I delivered it with a monotone voice. How interesting would you find that? You wouldn't find it interesting at all. The right-hand brain gone to sleep ages ago. So the next time we do this presentation together, I'm going to talk about some of the real techniques you can use in order to inject more right hemisphere activity into your presentation. So the things we're going to cover the next time round are going to be to your right, trust and the importance of developing that, the hidden power of vulnerability, story, instant gratification, touch and feel, and finally, visual aids. So, until next time. That's it for Radio ISR. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to the next time.